need to do everything we can to face this energy crisis and to make sure that we do everything we can to reduce the prices so that our citizens can still afford to heat their homes this winter. So that's going to be part of it. We also need to make sure that we do everything we can that member states are in a position to address the issue of windfall profits if necessary. So we'll try everything to make sure that our energy markets are functioning and are functioning in a way that addresses the issues that we need to tackle.
Doing everything, does that mean in the short term that the measures that the EU should agree to are actually imposing caps on the price of gas and electricity?
Well, nothing is off the table right now. We're preparing all of that, but we have to make sure that what we do doesn't create more damage than it helps us address the issue. So we have to be extremely careful. It took us 30 years to build the energy markets, so we need to make sure we address today's issue without creating long-term problems.
Because there is that side to imposing a cap, for instance, on gas prices, that then could actually mean that using this commodity could actually be more beneficial for consumers across Europe. Are you worried about that?
Well, I'm mostly worried about individual member states taking individual measures that would not be compatible one with the other. Then you would create distortions of the market. So the most important thing is that we do something collectively as Europeans. And then no option is off the table, as we've said very often, but we have to convince everyone to do things that address the immediate without creating long-term problems.
But we're hearing at the moment several ideas, reforming the electricity market, talking about price caps. But these ideas are not new. I heard them a couple of months ago from the Greeks, from the Spanish government. Why is it taking so long for your team to actually come up with proposals for all the EU to agree on?
Well, we've already presented quite a host of proposals in the months past. And we'll do so again next Friday, and especially President von der Leyen will make some announcements in the State of the Union. But again, I repeat, you have to be extremely careful and thoughtful about what you do, because you need to make sure that you reform the market but don't destroy the market. Reform the market but don't create more long-term problems by trying to solve short-term problems. And by the way, there's no way you can make cheap gas out of expensive gas. So you have to look at the mechanisms and make sure the mechanisms work in an optimal way.
One of the proposals that you did come up with is indeed imposing a 15%, essentially reducing gas consumption by 15%. Do you think that these sort of targets should actually become mandatory, also to help with the climate crisis?
Look, I strongly believe, and I hope we can convince all member states of that, I strongly believe that we can only face this issue if we also reduce consumption. It cannot just be looking at the price structure. We have to reduce consumption, and we have to be quite brutal in reducing consumption. Most of our citizens fully understand this. Most of our industries fully understand this. So we really need to be clear about this, and I hope member states will understand that we have to be very compelling in this as well.
So these targets should become mandatory?
Well, if it were up to the Commission, they would be mandatory, but the Council decided in another way. I only hope that member states understand there's no escaping the necessity of reducing consumption.